Hi, my name is Riley Unruh. This is my call to action speech for COM 115, Module 5. My discussion will be over the death penalty and why we need it. This is my audience. See everybody? There we go. I got everybody. The death penalty and why we need it. Studies undertaken over a number of years show unequivocally that between 3 and 18 lives could be saved by each execution of a guilty killer. Results from the University of Colorado in Denver show that an execution saves 5 lives, while the commuting of a death sentence results in about 5 more. As crime rates rise and more criminals are forgiven of their conviction, do all convicts deserve this treatment? With this map, it shows the red being the death penalty and the states that approve of it, and the blue showing the states that oppose it or do not support the death penalty. This chart shows the 5 deadliest shootings. As you can see, there's Las Vegas with 58, Orlando 49, Blacksburg 32, Newtown 27, and Sutherland Springs 26. These numbers represent the individuals that have lost their lives. In fact, of the 30 deadliest shootings in the United States dating back to 1949, 18 have occurred in the last 10 years. The use of guns is not the only reason we are losing lives. This is the difference between murder and non-negligent. Non-negligent crime is when 2 individuals are in an accident, such as a car wreck. Neither one of them confronted the other and provoked the action from happening. With murder, completely different. One individual is either attacking the other or one individual is defending themselves. Defining the death penalty. I'll explain to you now what the death sentence is. It is a sentence to be put to death for a capital crime. Capital crime is the offenses including espionage, treason, and death resulting from aircraft hijacking. However, they mostly consist of various forms of murder, such as drug-related crime, drive-by shooting, murder by kidnapping, murder for hire, or even genocide. As you can see by this chart shown, death penalty lowers crime rate. Death penalty can be used as a scare factor. Within our home, if somebody is out of line, I don't want to say make an example of it, but we show that it is not appropriate to perform that behavior. With the death penalty, we could apply this to murders that are happening today. Not only is the death penalty benefiting us for lowering crime rates, but it also is hurting us for the misuse of taxpayers' money. As you can see with this chart, it shows the average cost per inmate. The states with the red indicate $60,000+ of taxpayers' money, while the other states, as you can see, show the different colors. Back to decreasing murders committed. Instead of individuals being possibly released for good behavior or for another individual to commit a copycat crime. What I'm saying by this is instead of releasing the individual who committed murder, they should be sentenced to the punishment that they deserve. Even though individuals believe that the drop in crime from the 1990s to the 2000s was because of various social changes and policing tactics, I still believe that the death sentence did influence the crime rate drop. A poll taken in 2010 shows that the majority of voters, 61% to be sure, would select other punishments other than the death penalty for murder, meaning that a majority of individuals would select something other than that death penalty and may cause fear within convicts to stop committing heinous crimes. I would like now to discuss Old English times when execution helped stop crime from occurring. Because it was such an extreme sentence at the time, people feared committing such crimes in the fear of death. As opposed to today, where an individual can literally go to a school and injure or cause death to multiple beings and only be charged with time served in prison. Even though individuals believe that the drop in crime was because of these changes, I still believe that the death penalty did have an impact. back to money going somewhere else. The taxpayers' money could go in many directions. For example, it could be going into our school systems, our military, medical research, or nursing homes that care for our elders in recovery programs for our veterans. These people deserve the money that we are giving out, to say the least. We have taken for granted our school systems. We've taken for granted our military, the medical teams that are put together to help us with our diseases and our cancer that we are dealing with today. We need to be giving back to that instead of putting money into the individuals that have hurt society. Justice would be served by doing the death penalty. With this, I'm meaning the eye for an eye concept. If someone is willing to take someone's life, or multiple individuals' lives, they should be willing to deal with the same fate that they imparted upon the unfortunate individuals who had to suffer that fate. I am not saying individuals who have been involved in a non-negligent crime should be tried, or even individuals who committed murder because of self-defense. But for the people who have committed the heinous crime, they should not be able to plea out of the sentence or have a deduced sentence. It should be punishable by death. Now that we know the problem and solution, what happens if it isn't put into play? Non-negligent versus murder. With the death penalty legalized in all the states, it could be fixed, but without the support of others behind the legalization of the sentence, nothing would come of it. Only reason that the death penalty could be used would be if the sentence crime committed was not negligent. Accidents occur and some of those things are out of our reach. And the individual in this case was fully aware of what they were doing at the time or performing the crime, and were fully aware of the outcome of going through with the heinous action. Instead of an individual being sentenced to life in prison and having the sentence reduced due to good behavior while being incarcerated, I believe that individual should receive the proper punishment for the crime that he or she has committed. I firmly believe in my eye for an eye concept, saying, and I think that every person, if they are not willing to receive their punishment, they should not be willing to do the action. I would like to go to school shootings now, because that is a thing that is occurring popularly now. Would the death penalty have prevented the school shootings from occurring? I think they could have. At the beginning of this year, we have experienced so many shootings and occurrences with guns, and everybody has their own opinion on it, but I honestly think if we made an example of the first shooting committed, it wouldn't have happened continuously. It would have been stopped right then and there. What could we have done to prevent murder in the beginning? Well, in some cases, murder can be considered a mentality thing where an individual is mentally not well. With this, we could go into programs, or we could actually reach out to the individuals who needed help before they did the crime. Another thing that we could do is prevent the misuse of guns or other objects seen as weapons. I think that we should do more psychological evaluations before buying a weapon, such as doing the psych evaluation or having identification and permits being provided before purchasing that weapon. Also, we could do more on actually patrolling, more so watching the weapons that are being purchased, having certain ranks of weapons being on watch lists, so we are aware of what is being purchased at what large masses. Now, for my interactive activity, this is called In My Shoes. Now, to begin, I have set 3 pieces of paper on the table for my audience because I am not involving my youngest sister in this. Each piece of paper has a name on it, whether it be judge, defendant, or relative of victim. These have been picked out randomly. I've just placed them on the table. Now, everyone please pick. Okay, they have selected their cards. Please flip them over. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it this way. All right, so let's see. Who got judge? All right, so my father has received the judge one.
We're all gonna die.
We're all gonna die. All right, who is the defendant? And the relative of victim is my sister Reese. Beautiful. All right. Now, judge, your defendant is being accused of murder, pleading not guilty and showing no sign of remorse for the crime that she has committed. Now, judge, you have the ability to decide whether or not this individual should receive the death penalty or just a sentence in prison. The relative of the victim seeks justice for their loved one who has passed on and wishes that the defendant receives the sentence they deserve. Roxy, I'll let you be a jury member in this case, and you can help influence the judge on what he should decide. So, how is the person going? In this case, the defendant attacked the victim in their home. Oh, I apologize.
Attack my friend.
Okay, the defendant came into the victim's home, attacked them, killed them. It's done, murdered. They're on trial. Now he's in the grave, yes. They had no reason to come into their home and attack them. It was just because, you know what, let's just go do this. They may have been on drugs, they may have been, I know the word I'm thinking, or looking for money, robbing. We don't know. There's no motive set right now. What would you do? Would you be comfortable with letting them go in prison for just going out killing somebody for no reason? Or would you sentence them to the death penalty because it is the eye for an eye concept?
May I have a
Answer, sir.
Talk to you.
Converse.
I feel like she should, chop her head off.
Whoa, that's a little much, Roxy.
Whoa! Just because I made you do the dishes.
Okay, and why do you think death penalty? Oh, very good, very good. All right, I'm going to shift this back into focus to do my conclusion. Sorry, I apologize, I have to get set up again. Why we need the death penalty. The reason I presented this topic to you today was not because I think every criminal deserves to be sentenced to the death penalty. I discussed this very controversial topic because of the individuals who do not commit non-negligent murder and end up living a life, whether it be in confinement or not, while their victim did not receive the chance to continue living their life. If someone is willing to take another's life, I feel that they should be willing to receive the same punishment. And that concludes my speech. This is my audience again.
I'm dead.
My mother.